Oh, what's up, everybody? Are we live? Hold on. Let me
Yes,
We
it
see.
says we're
live.
live. We're live.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Jason Craig, aka the Friendly Neighborhood Dreadhead. This is not the Bring the Popcorn podcast. I have to change the intro. Like I said, gotta change the intro. But this is the pilot episode of the Bring the Conversation, where we take a topic or a few, and we just have a deep dive discussion on it. Now for this week, we have a lot to talk about. But before we talk about that, let me introduce you to my two guest hosts, some people that are very versed in what we're talking about today. I'm gonna start with Mr. Warren Marlowe. How you doing, sir?
Hey, man. If you don't know, I'm either this guy or I'm this guy. But hey, I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
Oh, doing great, doing great. And of course, I couldn't do something that involved wrestling without Mr. Brian from the Beeline Entertainment. What's good, big dog?
What's good, bro? Yeah, we definitely thank you for having. But yo, listen, me and Warren, we part of the commission. Commission talks on Wednesday, and of course, straight through the ropes wrestle talk on Wednesdays as well. STR Nation, and yeah, appreciate you having me on, bro. We're gonna talk some shit today.
Oh yeah, we gonna talk some shit. But I got a question for you, man. Are you a fan of wrestling?
Oh man, I've seen it once or twice, but you know, yeah, I'm definitely a fan of wrestling, bro. I've been a fan of wrestling, and when you say wrestling, people are picky. Especially wrestling fans are picky. You say wrestling, they want to know what type of wrestling. Because there's a lot of types of wrestling. You
Right.
got WWE, you got AEW, you have you have WCW, you have a lot of promotions, New Japan. You have so much to select from. You say wrestling, I think most people who are wrestling fans in this era had to have been a part of the WWF, WWE, WCW, years at our ages and stuff like that. So I definitely come from WWE, WWF, and WCW. That was my beginning stages with wrestling for sure.
Okay. So then my next question to you is, before we get into the topic, I'm trying to start off from Warren. What match got you into wrestling?
Man, I saw this shit all the time. The one matches that started me, the first match that I remember seeing was I walked and I like woke up one night and I went into I went to the doorway of my father and mother's room and they was in there watching a match with Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan and it wasn't WWE. I don't know what it was at the time. I don't know if it was NWA. I don't know what it was at the time. But Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair were fighting. They were fighting by the guardrail and it was old school, man. It's back when fat TVs existed, all that shit. And I was young, man. I might have been, I don't even know, man. I was like 5, 6 years old or whatever. But I remember watching it. I was just standing in the doorway and I was just watching it. And then after that, I had found a tape of WrestleMania, not WrestleMania, SummerSlam '91. And I used to watch that tape all the time. I remember all the matches that were on it. And two matches that really got to me was Bret Hart versus Kurt Hennig for the IC championship at that. When Kurt Hennig did the superplex. I remember falling in love with Bret Hart. No, whatever. But I remember falling in love with Bret Hart when I saw Bret Hart. He went to the Kurt Hennig went to the top rope, and then Bret Hart would always move and never let him. He was always the master of that shit. But I remember that match. I remember the match made in heaven and match made in hell with the Macho Man got married to Queen Elizabeth, bruh. That was what started me. So a combination of Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. 'Cause remember they fought Sergeant Slaughter and what's his
Sheik.
name? Sheik.
Sheik.
Yeah. So they had they were going up against Hogan, Hogan, Warrior, and shit. I forgot their partner, but that's what started me off, bro. That's what started me up.
Right. And same question, Mr. Warren. Since you're a fan of the wrestling, what was the match that got you into loving this form of entertainment?
Whew. Man, I gotta go back that far back. I might be young, but I've had to watch way too much of this. Um, so let's go back to when I first got into pro wrestling. Obviously, my mom was watching wrestling all the time. I talked about it on the last show I was just on. when the Attitude Era wrestling was on every single day, except there was only two wrestling shows. It was SmackDown and Raw, but it was, every other show talking about the highlights from Monday Night Raw. My mom would always watch these things, but my
Mm-hmm.
favorite match when I got to watch was it was literally Rock versus Undertaker. Um, him doing the banner, dropping the banner down, putting the people's elbow down, because all the kids in my school, they love Stone Cold, and I just could not stand it. I'm just like, all right, man, I don't drink beer, even though we're like 5 years old. Nobody's drinking beer, I don't think, at this age. They're flipping birds off and talking about they're gonna stomp a mud hole in everybody's behind. And then I see this guy with the sunglasses. He's got this wrist cast, but he looks so freaking finesse. I mean, the dude come out with some dress shows, some slacks. I'm just like, I like this guy. He's
Mm-hmm.
beating the Undertaker like this, because I was terrified of the Undertaker. Like, Undertaker was like Jason Voorhees and stuff to me. Like, everybody talking about they were scared of them guys. I was scared of Mark Calloway, which I found out not after that, but obviously the Undertaker. That was who I was terrified of.
Mm-hmm.
But now, pro wrestling match: Tim Warner versus Brad Armstrong. Those two were, and those are way way back. Um, those two, literally, I pulled movesets off of just from the arm drags, the drop kicks. Uh, I I love the era where wrestling was finished with a freaking sunset flip, and that be a pin, a schoolboy, stuff like that. So I mean, it's just so many.
That's the Bob Backlund fucking era.
Yeah, bro. No, that's way back. Brad
Yeah.
Armstrong and Tim Horner were out
Yeah,
like in
that's
the
way farther. Yeah,
70s, bro. 70s.
yeah, I didn't watch that long ago. Shit,
No,
I've been.
that's when I got into wrestling. That's when I started watching those guys. When I
Oh,
actually started getting into wrestling school and stuff like that, I watched them guys. So
yeah.
yeah, I've watched long centuries of these things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When that was one of the things when I did start, like like Warren said, man, you had Raw and SmackDown. That was like for people who started SmackDown. I remember when SmackDown was first getting like fucking commercials and announced. Like I remember when Raw was first getting commercials and announced, because like one of the things that I used to wait for, like as a fan, I was Saturdays. Saturdays was wrestling days because they would play
Mhm.
superstars on Saturday, and then they'd have American Gladiators on afterwards and
Yep.
shit. Then they would have Thunder in Paradise on after that, and then they would have Renegade on after that. And I remember that shit back in the day, and I used to wait for that. Me and my cousin, no matter where I was, we would go. We had all the fucking Hasbro toys or whatever. We had the ring, and we loved wrestling, man. Jimmy Fly Snooker, Ric Flair, we had all of them motherfuckers. Rick Rude, and it's like it was just what I was always into. I never shied away from wrestling. And like Warren said, like once it started getting more commercial and went more, the popularity of it grew, and it became more like on cable every single week, and you were sitting there seeing all these different faces, Doink the Clown,
Oh,
Crush, and
bro,
it
yeah.
was so many different fucking characters. Like you couldn't hate it. And back then, you really believe you didn't believe that it was real all the way. You knew it was something,
Oh, I did.
but yeah, nah,
I did.
I honestly didn't. I
I
honestly
really
did. I
thought
can't
Undertaker
lie.
was born from a graveyard. I really thought this man was born from a graveyard. Like my grandmother, rest in peace, Marie Sproul. My grandma believed so much into pro wrestling.
Hmm.
My grandma, like, if it was on TV, it was real. Like, this is the same woman that literally believed Elvis was on a UFO and stuff like this. Like, my
Yeah,
grandma believed all this mess. When it came
yeah,
to pro wrestling, I just wish one time I would ever got to wrestle in front of them, because they literally shrined all of us into pro wrestling, even
that'd
if
be
we didn't
awesome.
want to, because they watched the NWA days. I remember that's all would be on the TV there. It was either be the Days of Our Lives, all those soap operas, but at nighttime, pro wrestling was always on the TV when I was at my grandparents' house. So
It's awesome.
just seeing, and she always talked about, I wish I got paid $1 million to woo with Ric Flair. I'd woo all day. And it's just like
Mm,
like all that nostalgia, and it's just really to just come back into full circle. Like, wrestling is still here. It's like
shit.
it's been so many generations that have done this. Like, pro wrestling
Yeah.
first started with somebody that literally just presented himself like he was a total badass, and then a fan beats this guy up, And then it got to the point it's like, oh, this ain't never work anymore. And like now we gotta make this like a sport, than like a back and forth Sinatra.
Yo,
So it's
listen,
just like
hold
so
on, Warren.
crazy.
You know that it actually started in carnivals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wrestling began in carnivals. Yes,
yeah,
they used to have like not, I don't know if it was a strongman competition, like just who's the strongest or whatever, and that's where they started. Everybody in the ring
Yep.
and stuff like that built off of carnival. I didn't when I found that shit, I was like, damn, like it's crazy, but it's interesting, like you were saying, like what it's evolved into. Because back in the day, they did have the fucking 3 hour marathon on wrestling, but it had to be in your territory. Like you had to be able
Yep.
to watch it on channel 12 or whatever it was back in the day. But it is crazy what it's
Luckily, it
evolved
wasn't
in.
that bad for me. I
Shit.
was in the cable area. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Motherfuckers
yeah,
wasn't over there watching it, but yeah, man.
yeah,
I love when people ask that question, because it's just like it does take you back, and it reminds you of like why you got so much passion for it, man.
It makes you
And
take that pride too, because like you got
yeah,
to think, like I talked about it numerous times, but there was an era, like I'm pretty sure all of us have had it, where it was not cool to be a pro wrestling fan. It
yeah,
was not cool to be a pro wrestling fan, and you would get laughed at if you were a pro wrestling fan. And I take major pride in even everything that I've done and what I saw. I always stayed loyal to saying, "Hey, I put myself into pro wrestling. I love the pro wrestling because I loved it, not because Johnny or Timmy watched it on
yeah,
the TV or
exactly.
whatever. I watched it. My mom got me into it. It was enshrined to our whole family mantra. Like it's something that I take pride as like a jersey, and it's like, yeah, I like pro wrestling because I've been watching it for a long time.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's just so cool, like how everything has evolved into not only the T-shirts, not only the toys, not only the lunchbox, not all these things. You see it on TV. You got these guys in movies now. Like it's just a whole revelation from where it's been from the past to what it is now.
yeah. Great.
yeah, yeah, man. Like for me, my introduction into wrestling, I will
I'm
never forget.
curious. I'm curious.
I I will never forget it. I had, and sorry, well, it's done now. I had bought WrestleMania. Which one was X7 on accident.
Oh yeah, on accident, right? $70, no shells. WrestleMania, it's like $80.
Oh, it was 65. I know exactly how much it
Damn.
was. My mom wouldn't buy it for me. I was so mad.
So I felt the repercussions after, but the match that made me fall in love with the sport of pro wrestling was the ladder match. My favorite. That's why that match is my favorite match to this day. It was the ladder match. It was also Rock versus Austin. I think this was Rock versus Austin too at
Yeah,
Wrestle.
17.
Rest of 17.
13 was the first one. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
so
sure.
15.
Fifteen.
first time, that was my first introduction into wrestling, and man, when I tell you I fell in love at that point, I did. I still say that that's probably, in my opinion,
He agrees.
one of the best WrestleManias, in my opinion, of my era. Um, So then, I started going back in the rabbit hole. I watched a lot of old matches. Even went back to some of the '70s matches, which weren't as slow paced as I thought that they would be,
Yeah.
because there were actually a lot of great sound technical wrestlers back in the day. Um, I was just I know a lot of people were. I was never a fan of, like, the big, swole, like Hulk, like bulky looking men.
That's why you don't watch the old wrestling then.
Hulk Hogan, Hercules, the
Yeah, I just
Barbarian. Yeah, there was so many just big ass, jacked ass guys all over the place.
Yeah, like I respect, like I do respect like their work. It just didn't appeal to me. Just I feel like
Yeah.
some of the matches were kind of slow. A lot of these dudes could not wrestle. They were just there because they were big. Uh,
Yeah, it's true. That's why they were.
yeah, but like I said, but I asked you guys that question because people, we are going to talk about a man that everybody should know. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, you have heard this man's name, and well, if you've been paying attention to the news over the recent few weeks, you know his name now too. But we are the first episode of Bring the Conversation. We are talking about Vince. Is it? It's Kennedy, right?
Vincent
Kennedy.
Kennedy McMahon. Yeah.
Candyman Jr. We're gonna call him since we're gonna both. We're gonna call him Vince Jr. and we're gonna call his dad Vince Sr. just so we don't get nothing confused.
Got it.
So, but we're talking about this man because of recent news with him. But I went into the rabbit hole and did my research so I could talk with these guys. I thought we were gonna be able to get this in one show, but y'all, Brandon conversation is gonna be on this topic for a full month because I had to break this up into 4 parts. A lot.
You over there doing that shit that that girl was just doing on TikTok, telling a
No.
story in 50 fucking videos. Listen, if you can't do it in 3, nobody wants to know it. All right?
Well, that's why we
I
do.
was sitting there watching that shit for an hour.
Well, look, that's why we doing it over 4 weeks. So the first week is going to consist of. Well, we're going to talk about this man's upbringing because man, some of the stuff I uncovered, especially from his Howard Stern interview,
Are you talking
it
about
was
the one with Cena?
no, it was Vince McMahon and Howard Stern, and then he had another interview with someone else.
Oh, I know what you're
Yeah,
talking
he's
about.
had a lot over the years. I mean, Phil
Play-
Donahue, Geraldo.
yeah, his Playboy and his Howard Stern interviews are the ones we're going to focus
Oh, good God.
because he talked about his childhood and a lot of that stuff. If you have not noticed, if you aren't surprised, a lot of that stuff has been debunked by people he grew up with. Uh, but we're going to talk about his upbringing and how he made WWE into the powerhouse it was today. And then we'll let you guys chime in and get like right go on WWE or whatever
Yeah,
wrestling you.
Hey Jay, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it's like your
Yeah, I
mic is
know.
going
Yours
in
is
and out,
like
bro.
in and out.
Like really bad. Like you're hearing like
Give me 1 second.
I don't know her. Oh man, listen, bro, it's Friday, yo. I needed this Friday to be Friday more than anything. What time you waking up to watch Elimination Chamber, bro?
I am. Oh, I'll be almost getting ready to go to work, but I'm
Oh, you
actually
gotta
happy.
work?
I'm happy I could actually watch a whole pay per view without even before I go to work.
You gonna
Can you
wake up early to watch it?
can you
Yeah,
hear me better now?
Yeah, we hear you. Yeah, we still hear you. Hopefully,
we
it
hear
just.
you a lot better.
I think if anybody makes like any kind of noise, it kind of defers away from the mic.
Okay, well, like I said, we're going to talk about the making of what the WWE is now today and his upbringing. But for people that don't know about, the McMahons, what I found this out because I knew about his dad, Vince Senior.
Mhm.
I did not know about their his
His
dad,
grandfather. Yeah.
yeah, his grandfather, Roderick James McMahon, or Big Jess is what he was called around the boxing promote. He was a boxing promoter, and then he became a wrestling promoter, and it's just in the family. I think his dad,
In an accident too. It wasn't like he planned to be in the pro wrestling realm either.
yeah,
He used to shun upon it.
yeah, because I think that his dad. If y'all haven't noticed by the lineage, they come from money. Because I think his dad was a
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think his dad owned hotels. I think I read something.
Hmm.
Yeah, hotel business and all that. So yeah, man comes from money. Funny thing about Vince is Vince did not meet his dad till he was 12. He
Yep.
was raised by his mother, and I shit you not, when I read this, I was like, oh, his mother and and many stepfathers, but the one that he remembers the most. Let me get his name, Leo Lupton.
Yep.
And it is said, and he has said in many interviews that Leo Lupton abused him and his mother. Oh, also, fun fact: Vince's name at first was Vinny
Yep.
Lupton.
I didn't know none of
So
that.
He changed his last name because of his father. Or actually, his mom made him change the last name because of the father.
yeah, it's it's a lot,
Oh, it's
but
really, yeah, it's there.
yeah, like I said, Warren, I did my research, man. I want to make sure I was because I knew you would challenge me with a lot of this stuff,
Yeah,
but
that all that shit I didn't know.
yes,
Yeah.
but also, which is very telling. He doesn't outright say it, but in many interviews, these interviewers asked McMahon if he was ever abused sexually by anybody in his family. He has insinuated that there was some abuse, but never sexual. But when
Yeah.
Howard Stern did bring it back up in 2001, I want to say, Vinny kind of did insinuate that his mother abused him sexually. So
Mhm.
it's like he never outright said it, but it was implied. Which if you watch WWE, you can see it. God, you can see it. Go back and watch the Attitude. God damn, you can see it. Oh, but yeah, I found that just very interesting that he did not meet Vince Senior until he was 12, and I also found it weird how um Vince Senior took his brother Roderick with him and left Vince. I thought that was very.
Mhm.
Pretty sure you knew about that, Warren.
And Roderick looked just like him too.
Yeah, I think Roderick passed away in 2022, I think, or 21.
Yep.
And I think his mom actually stayed
He
alive.
died. He actually died because of COVID.
Yeah, and then didn't his mom? She had a long life too, didn't she? What
Hmm.
what what's her name? Let me see. Look at my notes. Dang, I cannot read my own notes. Um,
Yeah, we had to go to school to come to your show today.
man, I had to take a lot of notes because it's a lot. But when Vince Senior got back into Vince's life, he kind of introduced him to the business, but he did not want him to be a part of the business
Yeah,
though.
he didn't want to be a part of it at all.
And main thing he said, he did not want him hanging out with the wrestlers
Hmm.
The
because
motherfuckers
you
was
can
doing
probably,
coke and they was doing crazy shit, especially back in the day,
yeah, and
drinking.
Warren, you
Oh,
might know the
syringe.
name, but Vince, he hung around one wrestler. I forgot his name. Is going to kill me, but he hung around one wrestler in Vince's company that I'm pretty sure showed him all the things not to do.
Yep. I want you to
And
say it. I want to see if you know it.
um, well, I do know like okay, so yeah, so from what I was told, what I was reading from Vince's accounts, I forgot the rest of the name, but he was saying that he was so cool because I shit you not. First of all, I don't know how he was getting this money because I'm pretty sure wrestlers weren't getting paid this well. He was lighting cigarettes with $100 bills. That was Vince's words.
Mm.
I
Who was that?
what's his wrestler's name? Hold
Last
on.
name's Race.
Oh, Harley Race.
Harley Race.
Get the fuck
It
out of
Oh
here
was
for
his.
real.
It was Harley Race.
Oh damn, I did not know that at all.
yeah.
A lot
So
of them were not allowed to be around Harley Race.
Harley Race is the Harley Race trained Stone Cold. He's trained Triple H, along with Ric Flair. Um, right? Am I right? I'm pretty sure
No, Harley Race didn't train Stone Cold.
he didn't train Stone Cold.
Stone Cold went to a training school in Texas. I can't remember where. I can't remember exactly. It was a guy that was like a jobber for like a
Y'all
little
niggas
bit.
making me look up shit now.
Stone Cold got trained by
Louvez or
Lou
whatever.
Thez. Yeah, Lou
Yeah.
Thez.
yes, Luke
Him and
Tez.
Triple H both. Yeah, Triple H was a little bit with him as well until he met Greg Grenier or whatever. I can't remember his last name.
Vern Gagne.
Vern Grenier. Yeah, that's why I don't know why I got that mixed up. But yeah, yeah, bro. I was waiting to see if you knew exactly who because Vince had like we could look at it and think like, yeah, this man was a very rich, wealthy kid, whatever. No, he lived in a trailer park. He
Yeah.
lived damn near at Eminem in the '60s realm type like life. Like it was weird hearing about some of this stuff and hearing more in depth of it. Obviously, when I got into this standpoint, but yeah, Jason, you're pretty spot on a lot of stuff that you're saying right now. I'm
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually
yeah.
impressed.
He did a
I'm
fucking homework.
impressed.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
impressed.
But also, Vince
Brian
also.
Breaker, or Trevor Murdoch was actually the last person who was trained at his school, at least.
Hmm.
Brian Breaker, yeah, I guess not a lot of people weren't trained by him.
Yeah, but also,
You didn't want to be
um,
trained by him.
and, and if you wanted to know how much Vince hated his stepfather, he legit
Oh
said
yeah.
in a certain interview, It's a shame that he died before I could kill him myself.
Yep. Yep.
So he hated him a lot, but
He
Vince,
bought the business just to get even.
yeah, yeah, but Vince Senior, I get, I'm assuming, it's really murky on the reason why he came back to, why he left Vince and why he came back for Vince, but I'm assuming it was so he could get his wrestling promotion at a stable place, and then
Well,
come,
first, Vince put it into the anchor of bodybuilding. That's where he got his dad to actually consider selling it to him because he was like, hey, because Vince was very popular with the bodybuilding realm. Like he was
Mm-hmm.
doing the bodybuilding competitions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's why his dad was like considering it because he's like, oh, he's just going to shift it over to bodybuilding. Like, okay, I don't have to worry about him doing stuff, to all these things. But he did all that to trick him in after he got the bodybuilding, brought the bodybuilders over into the pro wrestling realm.
Exactly.
So he 180'd them real quick.
yeah,
Yeah.
and also, just to tell a little bit about Vince Senior. Vince Senior, he started with the NWA, but then um, he didn't really stray away from territories, but he decided to go over to Washington D.C. to start his WWF, which at the time was Worldwide Wrestling Federation. That's a mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
Worldwide Wrestling Federation, and then he rejoined a little bit in 1971. But once again, him and Vince, bro, because and around, I want to say 1970s, him and Vince were kind of lockstep. Like, I say that Vince Jr. was Palpatine, and Vince Senior was Darth Vader, because Vince even told his dad, like, once he
He
got
got
a
his
little bit.
dad to do a lot of things. Yeah.
So, for people that know about wrestling, wrestling was divided into territories. You had Midwest. You had the Midwest. Midwest. You had the South. Um, North. Was it? Was it the Northwest? It was the Northwest, I think. Yeah. So there was all these different, like, picture like sports, like it was like
Mm-hmm.
divisions of sports. That's how it was in wrestling. And the unspoken rule was you never march on people's territory.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah. And it ended
You would
fast.
die for it. You would
well,
die for it. That's the sad
Yeah.
part. You would die
yeah,
for
yeah,
Until somebody took the risk.
yeah. Well, Vince Jr.
it. Benny the one that did it.
being
Yep.
the rebel, being the rebel that Vince Jr. is, well, we're getting too far. First, we're going to go back to Vince's start in the business. Vince actually did not, like, Vince's dad actually did not make it easy on Vince. He said no, you're going, like, I don't want you to wrestle. He did not want to wrestle. That was one
No.
thing. He
That I
Mhm.
remember. Yeah.
So, I forgot the man's name, but his old ring announcer, he wanted more money. And if you
Yep.
know anything about
Commentator.
Vince Senior had a way with talking to you, because you talk to any wrestler, you want to get. Look, this is what wrestler would say: you won't get what you want, but you will leave happy. That's just the type of negotiator that Vince Senior was. Like, he would get his way, but he would also make you feel good about it. So the ring announcer wanted more money. Vince Senior was not budging. So then he said, "Well, you can go, Vince Junior. Uh, I'm going to let you get in the business, but you have to go around and promote the WWF, and you have to make these shows to do to ring announce."
Yeah.
So Vince did that for a while. Then he started doing color commentary at one point, I think, for just a little bit.
Now he did commentary for a little while, like because I
Yeah,
remember that was the first thing. I remember when I had found that out, and I was like, back when I was like looking into commentary and how long, like who were some of the greats, because I was always like Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain, but I didn't realize because at some point right after like or right before like the Attitude Era like really kicked off. Vince was still sitting behind the counter with JR, or he was sitting behind the counter with Macho Man. So he was
yeah.
still color commentating for a while.
Oh, well, I was just saying, like, his next progression of, like, after his ring announcing days,
Yeah.
which I kind of knew about his ring announcing days, but, like, I didn't know that, like, that was his start. I know, like, his dad just didn't, like, give it to him, because one thing about Vince and his family, they come from Irish descent, and if you know the Irish, they don't they they are very prideful of the hard work, like of their own fruition, and like no basically no handouts. And Vince Senior, he was raised like that, so he raised Vince Junior like that. And I found it interesting that even when he was when Vince Junior was getting more and more into the business, Vince Senior still would not sell the company. The only reason it's kind of sad. It's the only reason why Vince Senior really sold the company to Vince at the time he did, because he found out that he was dying of pancreatic cancer. Um,
Smart. I thought the rich
so
stay rich.
but but also he was also smart into telling Vince, because this was showing Vince Jr. responsibility. What you can do is you can basically put a down payment on the company, but you have to make payments for, I think it was three consecutive payments. You can't be late, because if you're late, then you don't get the company. It comes right back to me.
Mm.
And I'm pretty sure Vince Senior knew that Vince was going to make the payments, because he saw how much Vince Junior wanted this, but he wanted to see if he wanted to see Vince would um, pull through with the hard work. Now, this is from what Vince said about his last moments with his father. Like I said, you can take what Vince says with a grain of salt, because a lot of things Vince says in these interviews, you don't know if it's true or not. So you just have to take what you can. He did say, which I kind of can believe, because I do know a few Irish people. He did say that um, on his deathbed, the first time he heard his dad say "I love you" was on his deathbed, and I do think that that probably was one truthful thing that Vince did talk about, because Vince Junior and Vince Senior and even their grandfather was a hard ass. Like that's just something about them. It's just the Irish blood in them. So Vince Senior dies 19 either 83 or 84. I want to say 84. I want to say 1984. So now now he just went full on. Before his dad, before his dad passed, he convinced his dad we should go sign wrestlers from other promotions. And and um and Vince Senior was hesitant about it, but then Vince Junior said, "It's either like we're going to make a lot of money, Dad. It's either you're with me or you're against me, because I technically own this company now." He said, "I'm with you, son." And that's when Vince started plucking wrestlers from different regions. The most famous one everybody knows is Hulk Hogan, which
That was his first signing. That was his first sign.
yep, his first
Oh, I
time,
didn't. I didn't know. I didn't know Hulk Hogan was his first. I know there's a
Him
because
and
bunch.
he wanted.
Andre.
Shawn Michaels. There was a bunch of people
No, him and
they put
Andre
together.
were the first signs.
Yeah,
Mm.
because he wanted to sign. I want to say Bruno. I want to say we wanted to sign Bruno at the time, but Bruno was still
Bruno
holding.
wasn't doing it.
Yeah, he was
But
still holding the championship.
yeah, Bruno was still holding the NWA title, and Vince couldn't pluck him yet. But I think it was until I forgot who had the title, but that's when Vince
Flair.
plucked him. It
Flair.
wasn't Luke, huh?
Flair.
Was it Flair?
Flair
So
had that sucker for a long
Who,
time.
who
yeah,
beat Bruno for the belt?
it was a transitional champion. I forgot
He
the
only
name.
won it for like a week or early, actually, like not even a month.
Yeah,
The
I
dude that
forgot.
beat
I forgot who
Bruno.
who beat him.
No, it wasn't Pedro. It was not Pedro Morales.
Pedro Morales was actually with WWE at that. I mean,
Yeah,
well,
yeah, it wasn't
that
Pedro.
time.
It wasn't Luthez, because Luthez wound up going to WWE. I forgot who it was, but yeah, he was a transitional champion. So basically, Vince was doing the
Bruno.
unheard of, and he was plucking all of this talent, like y'all said, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, who, uh,
Ivan Koloff.
Superstar Billy Graham.
Oh
okay,
no,
Billy Graham.
yeah. Billy Graham did. Ivan Koloff beat him. Recall the Shock.
So
Santino lost the championship at Madison Square. Oh, hold on. No, hold on. No, Santino held WWF World Heavyweight Championship for 7 years, 8 months, and 1 day.
Yeah, Ivan Koloff won it
It was Ivan
for.
Koloff, yeah.
yeah, so what Vince had, so Vince he
Damn, he
waited.
only won it for a week or two. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
I mean, but that it makes sense if you have like a long titleship contendership. Like you don't want to have another one right after. Like, I mean, I don't
Here
know.
we go. Here we go.
Listen, Warren. This
Here
ain't
we
commission. All
go.
right, we ain't gonna fucking do it.
well, like here's the thing. Well, like here's the thing about pro wrestling. Like a lot of people are mad at transitional champions, but transitional champions are actually needed. They're needed in the sport because
Not
for
now.
one, it's a breath of it's a breath of fresh air, but also it gives them time to think of what to do next. And it
So is
sucks.
that Tic Tac sample? Is that what you're trying to say? It's got to get a
Yeah,
little
pretty
fresh
much.
breath for
I mean,
about a little moment.
there are good times where you can introduce a champion.
Yeah.
Even if it is kind of like a goofy situation, you can't do it all the time because that'll be fucking silly. But yeah, I definitely understand what you're coming from. Like even people like when Dude Love won the title or whatever. Like it's weird, but it makes sense if it's just fun. You know what I'm saying? Like even when Kofi won it, let's be real. Kofi was not no damn heavyweight champion contender in any time in his career. He was just a long time great wrestler, and he happened to jump in the picture, and people loved it. I don't think he should have lost to Brock Lesnar in fucking 20 seconds or whatever, but
Well,
I
nobody
definitely
thinks
It
that.
was
man,
believable, though. I mean,
it
look
was
how big
believable, but
Kofi
damn, come
is
on.
now.
I mean, he
After
bigger than Rey
throwing John
Mysterio.
Cena like he did,
Shit,
and
Rey
obviously
Mysterio had
beating
a bigger.
Undertaker.
Yeah, it was still some bullshit, but um, I mean, just the
Ray's
fact
different.
that they could have tried to do a little bit more, let Kofi run around and get some hits. He was champion. He had what, 3 successful championship matches or whatever. So I don't know, man. But it's interesting. But it was different times, man. It was different
Yeah.
times back then. You didn't wrestle as often. You know what I'm saying? It was like you had a match that
Every
was
other
announced,
month.
fucking kind of like UFC. Like it wasn't nothing like it is now.
Yeah, but that's when Vince changed. That's when Vince changed it. Now, doing my research, I have my I have my opinions on Vince, but I do respect him as a businessman
Oh yeah.
He was
because what
broke. He was
yeah,
broke.
because what Vince did is he did something unprecedented in professional wrestling. He would promote his brand on in other regions, and he would buy television spots in
Television
other
spots.
regions,
Yep.
which was unheard of at the time for pro wrestling because TV networks did not see professional wrestling as a lucrative market.
Mm-hmm.
But Vince changed the game, and also fun fact: the Muhammad Ali and the Muhammad Ali and Stephen and Anoki
Stephen Oki.
debacle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that debacle was Vince's idea.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And also, now this was funny. So of course, Muhammad Ali's camp didn't want him to lose, and Anoki didn't want to seem weak.
Yeah.
So they pitched to to Muhammad Ali. So what's going to happen is you're going to punch Anoki in the face, and he's going to blade himself with the razor blade he always hid in his cheek. But and then once he turned around and complained to the ref to stop the match, Anoki was going to choke you out. Muhammad
Yep.
Ali said, "Fuck that, no."
Fuck that. I ain't doing that. Yep.
So, so then I forgot the ref's name, but he's a famous dirtbag of a ref. Vince was going to go to this man and tell him, "What I want you to do is I want you to run up to Muhammad Ali and blade him across the forehead." Now,
Oh
for
shit.
people for people that have brains, you wouldn't think that running at a prime Muhammad Ali with a
Very
razor blade.
prime. Very prime.
You would think that running at a prime Muhammad Ali with a razor blade is a pretty bad idea. But if you've seen the match, or what you could call the match, honestly, most of that shit was just Anoki laying on his fucking back.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I remember that. I wasn't even
oh
interested in that time either.
yeah, and so that was one of Vince's first failures. But like Vince does, he rises from the ashes like a goddamn phoenix, and he still continued to rise in professional wrestling. Now, one of the big things that we're going to talk about is one of his big is something that he did that was never done before: WrestleMania. WrestleMania, um, might I add, people don't know this, but the WrestleMania event was not going to be what it was today. It was actually going to be a cross promotional event with a company in Japan. I found that very interesting, and um, the I forgot the owner's name. I'm sorry, folks. I'll say it next episode. But he was actually gonna be a part of that event. He was gonna be a part of that event, and it was gonna be like it was gonna be like a really big event with Japanese wrestling and American wrestling. It was a whole big thing, but then Vince changed his mind and said, "We need to do. I want this to be a spectacle that you don't get to see very often. Now we see it every year,
Yeah.
but Vince decided to he brought in everybody for that WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the big time celebrities at the time was at that WrestleMania. I don't remember the card that much. I forgot what was the headliner for that.
Hulk Hogan, Mr. T versus Rowdy Piper, and who the fuck
Bob
was it?
Orton.
Bob Orton. That's right.
Yeah. So that was the headliner, and then you had a whole bunch
Mr.
of
Wonderful. Mr. Wonderful wasn't Bob Orton. Rowdy
so
Piper and Mr. Wonderful.
so of course,
He was a
I
man.
think that's I think that's when pro wrestling really jumped off was WrestleMania because it was something that was never seen before. And if I'm mistaken, Warren, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It was on TV. WrestleMania was on TV
Yeah,
for the
It was
first
the
few.
first one.
that was the first thing on. Yeah, it was the first. I forgot what. It wasn't a cable station because I don't even know was cable stations even out.
It
It
was
was
a
on like the
basic
local
TV show.
channels.
It
Yeah,
was a
Yeah,
it was.
basic TV
Yeah,
show.
and I want to say okay. Now this is what was fuzzy. I know it was a broadcast. I want to say it was either ABC or NBC. It was one of those two. I
NBC.
know.
yeah, I can't
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah, it was NBC. It was a big event, and really, I did not know this. It was a huge gamble because Vince
He bet everything.
he bet
Everything.
everything on WrestleMania.
It was smart.
He had a hit on him for that too.
Yeah,
Oh shit, I
like
didn't know that either.
so. By the time WrestleMania one rolled around, the territories they were dead. Like there was still one competitor, but all the other territories they were dead at this point. Like
Everybody tried
Yeah,
to sign with WWF at that
exactly. He
time.
basically so what Vince McMahon like just to explain it like to in regular terms, he basically showed his dick to the world, and everybody was like, "I want to be a part of that," and that's what really
Money,
killed the
money,
territories because
money.
then everybody knew that's where the money was. They saw it on TV. They saw that they could be on TV, and that's where everybody was more interested in just, "Hey, I want to be a part." And right there, that was the beginning of WWF for real, man. That was what started it all, man. WrestleMania really is what really
Could you imagine
started
wearing a
all that shit.
T-shirt that says WWWF? Like, come on, bro. That's
Shit
like
became,
all across
became
your
aware of
chest.
WWF now, yeah.
That's like all across your chest right there. Yet alone
Yeah,
WWF. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
it's crazy.
but yeah, man. So Vince, he is the powerhouse that he is today because of the risk that he took. From like I said, I hate what the man is accused of. I don't like the person that he is said to be outside of wrestling, but I have to admit he is a very damn good businessman because he legit, like Warren said earlier, he came from the trailer park and well, I don't know about now, but he became a billionaire.
No,
Nah,
no,
he's
not
still
now.
living good. He's
Now
still living
that
good. Even though
motherfucker, the house, he basically
he's got
owns a
like
fucking
12, he's
town.
got like 6 different houses.
That shit, the one house in Connecticut, I think it's
Yep.
Connecticut. That shit is like it's like a fucking airport, bro. Like it's
It's
crazy.
the biggest house in that area.
That shit is crazy. I remember what I saw. I forgot where I saw it on, but I think it was on TikTok, and they showed like the whole area, like from the entranceway.
Looks
Listen,
like a
bro,
fucking theme park. That's what it
it
looks like.
does. It like a theme park. Like it really does look like that. That shit is
His
yeah,
his
it's
pool
bananas,
has
man.
like a waterfall, and he has like a slide. He has something where from one room could actually slide it into the thing.
And he
The
can't even
house
use
remind
none of
me.
that shit.
The house reminds me of the movie Blank Check.
Oh man, Blank Check was my shit.
Yeah, but yeah, so and then
Back to
also
top.
Vince, just like his father before him, he had his kids. Well, I find this funny with Vince. See, Vince Senior actually, okay, I'm going to slowly ease you into the business. Vince Junior was basically, well, no, he straight out pimped out Stephanie McMahon. She was basically doing all the merchandise,
Yeah,
photo.
merchandise. Yeah, Shane was a ref.
Yeah, he was
Shane
a
did a
Shane was
lot
ref.
a
of shit.
ref. Shane
Yeah,
was a
Shane was
ref
a
at
ref.
10 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shane was a ref for
So
a while.
So Vince brought his kids into it. He also met Linda McMahon. I want to say it was through his mother. I think it
Yeah.
was through his mother.
I don't know.
After he got kicked out of boarding school, or he said he got kicked out of boarding school. I don't know what to believe because Vince McMahon said at one point in
He
time
was
at 12 years
supposedly in
old.
the military, I think.
No,
Also,
he went to
he
a
got kicked out of military school. That's what it
yeah,
was.
yeah,
It
he
wasn't
got
even
kicked out
boarding
of
school.
military school. But he also supposedly, which I don't believe this for one damn bit. Supposedly he was a rough like a rugged kid who went around. He went to a bar and slapped a few Marines. That was from his mouth on the Howard Stern show, and I said, "Now you know damn well that ain't true. Them Marines was break
Uh,
them
I
Marines."
mean, he might have, but I,
bruh,
I I wouldn't
you
believe that
gotta
story
think.
if I
You
heard it.
gotta think though, how real wrestling territories were. It was literally you're asking for yourself just to sign your life over because these promoters they had hired killers on the background. Like when we talk about that pro wrestling, and that's what I talk about when everybody wants to pick these dirt sheets up from old promotions, all these things. I'm like, do you really want to see what was really entailed with these things? So I mean, like I've heard the same thing. I've kind of been like, yeah, maybe, but then it's like, okay, well, but I mean, it
Well,
could
no,
have happened.
no, I'm
It
not.
could
No,
have.
He ain't
no,
do
this
that
is
shit.
this is nothing wrestling related. He said in the Howard Stern interview that he was 12 years old and that he walked into a bar and
I
what
heard
a
he did
lot of
hit
his
his teacher. I think that's why he got kicked out of school because he hit his teacher.
yeah, but he was also telling stories how he would run with a rough with rugged boys and they would go around slapping Marines in bars. I was like, nah, Vince.
That's some storytelling shit right there.
I'm like, Vince,
He might have took a couple of headshots that day. I don't know.
I'm about to say, even if you did slap a Marine, I'm pretty sure they beat the fuck out of
Yeah,
you.
you would have got destroyed.
It
I
might be
So
the
mean,
reason
but
why he
but
walks funny.
but just to say, like, just to come up with that story is just like a Vince McMahon thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you know the character is like,
It's best for business.
yeah. It's almost too good of a story. I walked when I was 12 into a bar. First of
I
all,
bitch
okay,
slapped Hogan in
and
the
then just
face
bitch
and
slapped
knocked
some
his whiskers
Marines
off.
that were just sitting there. Well, I happened to be in a bar and I just slapped them. You know what? That's not even a fucking story, really. You have to have like a
Slapped
lot
him.
more context for me to believe some shit like that.
and then
I
then
slapped him.
also then also this was also either on the Howard Stern show
Go.
or the Playboy. Oh no, it was the Playboy interview. The
Oh
interviewer,
God.
first of all, this interviewer was a piece of shit. Like Vince is a piece of shit, but this interview was a piece of shit as well because he kept on prying about him being sexually abused. Which I don't care if it's Vince McMahon or anybody.
No,
That's just
Howard Stern would always. That's the only questions he would ever ask anybody at that
no,
time.
no. Howard Stern was actually more respectable than it was the
Really?
Playboy interviewer. The
Okay.
Playboy interviewer kept on prying on his sexual, like if he was sexually abused, and then he asked Vince McMahon if uh he asked Vince McMahon when was the first time he had
What about
sex,
it?
and when I tell you that this story made me laugh,
This?
it also kind of made me cringe because I was like, why would they do this? So from what Vince was saying that he had siblings, he had other siblings through through I guess his mother's other relationships. They would take Vince McMahon, and this is from his words, not mine. They took him, they undressed him, and they were touching on his private parts. I'm sorry, folks, that's very descriptive. That is what the man said, and also he said when the interviewer asked, "Did you ever have? What was your first time having sex?" And I don't know how this is sex. I don't know how Vince interprets this as sex, but Vince said that him and his cousin would see each other naked, and one day they went into the woods, and they were both naked, and he said for whatever reason he decided to stuff leaves in her panties. I, I was like,
Listen, that's one of those things that I firmly believe all the way. That's too much. That story is too crazy to make up. I definitely believe that.
That's where the Poison Ivy character came to life.
Mm,
I was just like, in my mind, I was like, Vince, that's not sex.
That's Uma Thurman right there. No, I'm just
That,
kidding.
that's not sex. But
Hey,
that was
that's what called bushy tail means. That's what that means.
listen,
stop, stop, stop. So, judging from Vince's stories with Playboy and Howard Stern, honestly, it brings it kind of makes things a lot clearer of what's going on now. Uh, so now we got all the the positive stuff out the way. Let's get let's go. We're not going. We're going to say the steroid trial. Well, I'm not going a little bit into the steroid trial and to say the rest for next week. But we're going to talk about something that Warren knows about because this is like Warren said. This was like back in the '80s when like people were like, "Oh, wrestling's fake." There was this one man, this one news, this one news reporter. He hated pro wrestling for whatever reason. I don't know why he hated professional wrestling. He wanted to prove that it was fake. So
Yeah,
he,
Vince on his show.
yeah, so, no, it wasn't Vince. So okay, so
Which one? Which one? Which news report are you talking about?
the slap heard around the world.
Oh, okay, okay, I got you. I had a
So
feeling you were thinking about that one.
so now let me go ahead and get this man's name up, bring that man's name because he's on like a lot of people in like in these next four shows they are pieces of shit, but he was a definite piece of shit because he just hated pro wrestling so much that he wanted to take. I think he even tried taking it to federal court.
Oh yeah, he did.
The slap.
Dude
maybe
never
got
got his
another.
wrestling career back from it. Never got to come back from the pro wrestling career because of it.
Yeah. Okay. No, not Chris Rock. God damn it. That was not the slap
What's
heard
that,
around the
Chris
world.
Rock?
That shit. That's probably what it is now. I never even heard it being called the slap heard around the world.
Yep.
You don't
Okay.
remember the pro wrestler? It's been on the thing where he's like, "Hey, man, you know this is fake, right? So how did you properly hit
He's like
somebody?
this.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Vader and
Does that
Undertaker.
look fake to you? Does that look fake to
Oh
you?
yeah.
No,
Oh yeah,
not Vader,
definitely.
not Vader.
No, it was like he never came back.
Hold
No,
Okay.
on,
he,
wait,
he
wait. Who the
lost
fuck are
he
y'all
lost
talking
his
about?
job because of I can't
No.
remember.
And what's so crazy is okay.
I know who
So
y'all talking. Hold on, wait. I gotta
It's
figure it
the
out now because I know
reporter
the fuck
that
y'all talking about.
literally was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Then
I
he's
know what
like,
you're talking
"That
about.
seemed fake to you? That looked fake to you?" He lost
I
his
know, I
job
know, I know
because
exactly who you're talking about. Hold on. Let me figure that out. Because it
it
was a
was on
couple
Dark
of
Side of the Ring.
David
them
Schultz.
that did that.
David Schultz, yeah, Dave
David
Schultz.
Schultz was a wrestler.
Let me look at this
Wait, wait,
motherfucker.
wait.
His
Yeah,
gimmick was Doctor something. I can't remember what the
Doctor
fuck it
Death.
was.
I
Doctor
think.
Death. Yep,
Yeah. So, Ricky.
lost his job because of it.
I want to say. Hold on.
Vince gave him a
'Cause-
good payday and then swept it under the rug. Told him he'd come back, but then they told him they got to wait a while and never responded back to him.
Yeah.
Trying to
Yep.
Hold on.
look it up. I got barbecue sauce on my fingers and shit.
Schultz slapped the shit out of that dude too.
Twice.
There was a couple of
Twice.
dudes.
He looked at him,
Yeah.
respond,
That's his name.
wham.
That's his name. John Stossel. So John Stossel, he was going against.
Play the scene of the slap.
Hold on.
Oh, never mind. Yours and we're not going.
Yeah. So here's the thing. About John
He's showing me
Stossel.
fucking Ric Flair and the Rock and Roll Express. That's not.
No.
Showing me some
So
crazy
That
shit.
tells you how this generation.
Oh yeah. Here we go. With the blonde hair. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
this guy. Yeah, I remember this shit.
yeah, it
Remember it
was.
was on. Remember it was on Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
I didn't watch Dark Side of the Ring.
So
Did I
John
watch Dark Side of the
Stossel.
Ring? I watched
Yes,
Beyond the Mat. I didn't watch Dark Side of the Ring.
it was on Beyond the Mat too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so John Stossel, he hated pro wrestling. I'm assuming because he could never get into it. Like he can never get into it himself.
Well,
So
he didn't look like it either.
So then he went to Vince and said, "Hey, I want to interview you because I think this shit is fake." And then Vince McMahon said, okay, but you got to interview one of my guys. So
Yep.
Vince, now here's where the first dirtbag move.
Personally made him do it.
Here's where the first dirtbag move that Vince pulled off. So Vince went to Doctor Death, aka David Schultz. He went to David Schultz and said, "Hey, I want you to stay in character while
Yep.
he's interviewing you. So basically, don't break kayfabe." So it's like, so he says, so just like my character's like, yeah. So John Stossel asks, "What do you think when I say that wrestling is fake?" He said, "Does this shit look fake to you?" Slaps the fuck out of him.
He's like the
Like
shit out of him.
he slapped him to the
Wait
ground.
for a second, and then wait till he hits the ground, and then start smacking him on the head.
Yup.
Still.
Yeah.
I
See,
remember that shit.
slapped him to the ground. The guy back up, slapped him again. And
Does that look fake?
does this shit look fake to you?
Are you
so,
kidding me? You really slap me? I'm gonna sue your ass.
so then, so then, after the whole debacle, John Stossel sues Vince for for damages because apparently Doctor Death ruptured his eardrum with that slap,
Mm-hmm.
Fuck him.
Mm-hmm.
and
As he should.
also what now Vince, mind you, remember I started this story with saying Vince told him to slap
Yep.
John Stossel. Guess what Vince did a few days later? He fired David Jones.
Bro, Vince is the fucking man, yo. People be hating on him.
Well, you also got to think that lawsuit literally could have crushed WWE. I mean
Yes,
WWF at that time because it was still very freaking new,
yep,
very new.
yep. So he he fired David Schultz. I don't think David Schultz. I don't think he even worked ever again.
Yeah,
No, he never did.
I've never seen him again.
Yeah, he
So
wasn't even he. If I remember correctly, his contract was almost up or something. Anyways,
I don't know shit about him. I don't even remember him wrestling. But I know he looked just like Sid Vicious. And he also looked like
some
early year Kane. Remember Kane had the blonde hair? Same
yeah.
shit. He looked just like him.
The
yeah,
the reporter's name was John Stossel.
yeah, John Stoss. I
Goofy looking.
that's fucked up. But that's funny.
That's funny as shit.
I get my boss tells me to slap in person without no repercussions, and then I get fired a few days later. So there's
Honest.
that. So then this is not, and also folks, mind you, this is 4 parts. This is not the first time the WWE gets sued. Oh,
Bro, they're a corporation that's been around for fucking 50 years. I mean, they literally
That's
are
what I'm saying,
in.
bro. You're gonna see a lot of
Yeah, I mean,
skeletons.
you know how many companies get sued like every day? I mean, and they're in the fucking fantasy violence industry. They're gonna get sued forever, man. It's just
The
how it
biggest
is.
thing about David Schultz, though, bro, he literally had issues with everyone in the back, which is the craziest thing. Because if y'all don't remember the promo of him calling Hogan a homosexual and everything else, like this dude went on a rampage around that time when he got signed by WWF. So I don't see anything like just defend us. We'll give you a good payday, whatever. And then 2 days later, hey man, gotta let you go.
Yeah,
You're on too many news medias right now.
is what it is. Yeah.
yeah,
That's why you
but
got it. That's why you got it. You got to protect your character. You got to protect. I mean, like you said, Warren, people didn't know that shit back in the day either. They were just probably happy to be a part of it.
Hotlines were the only thing they had at the back in the time, bro.
Yeah, them motherfuckers didn't care, bro. They was back there coking it up, drinking, steroids. They was ready to do anything.
yeah. So now we talked a little bit about that. Now, okay, I'm Warren, you did bring up Andre the Giant Hulk Hogan. Those were his first 2 signings. Now we're going to talk about Mr. Andre the Giant.
Oh, shit.
Someone, uh,
Great
oh,
documentary. Great
oh,
documentary if y'all catch it.
I know you're
oh,
about to talk
oh boy. Okay, so here's the thing about Andre the Giant. One thing I fucking love now out of all the big men I love is Andre the Giant because if you watch not older like health deteriorating Andre the Giant,
Yeah,
young Andre the Giant,
93. That shit was
like
bad.
like young Andre the Giant can move like a man 2 times smaller than him.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Hitting
I
drop
love
kicks.
yes.
Yeah,
about.
Andre the Giant was a beast back in the
Watch
day.
the time when he was in New Japan. He moved like a cruiserweight.
And he was
Yeah.
strong as shit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
The
unworldly strong.
Yeah, like Arnold Schwarzenegger said, yeah, he picked me up with one arm.
One
Yep.
arm. He used to carry women, just have them hanging on like a fucking Christmas tree. Yeah, Andre the Giant was a beast, man.
Yeah, and also he was also a very everybody like he was very lovable. He was very friendly to everybody, and he
If
was
he
the
liked you.
opposite.
If he
He was
liked
the
you, yeah, because he
If he
was a
liked
fucking asshole too.
yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't go over for you if he didn't
we
like you,
can't butter this part,
bro.
Jason.
Let's
I'm
be real.
Well,
sorry.
Yeah,
no,
Andre the
We
Giant was a
can't
fucking
butter this
asshole
part.
if
well,
he
no,
Andre
didn't
can
like
tell
I'm
you.
you different.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. I'm getting to it. So for a long time, Andre the Giant, he was Vince's guy. But as we're gonna know, in these other parts, when Vince sees no more use to you, he just throws you away. So people wondering, how was Andre and Vince's relationship? He hate. Here is words from Andre the Giant. He hated Vince's guts. He wanted to kill him. Why did he want to kill him? Well, Warren probably has heard this. One of the reasons was because
Yo, what the fuck? Why do you keep saying that? Like, nigga, I'm watching wrestling too.
well, these are very deep cuts because like I didn't know how to look into this. So the thing about like reason why people wonder why Andre suddenly became the bad guy, well, because Vince knew that he's going to die soon. He like his health is going very fast, and we need a new top guy. And comes Hogan. This is this is when the terror of Hogan starts. So Andre, this when Andre was becoming the asshole because
Why is it?
he was
Why'd you say is when the terror of Hogan starts for this story?
because that
I know
because
the
like
story you telling, but I don't.
Jason's not a Hogan fan, bro.
Yeah,
no
'cause, I mean, but you paint the
no
narrative though,
no
because I
no
mean, I
no
don't feel like
no
Hogan
when I
started
say
in that
when I say
way.
Hogan, I mean like his reign of terror from
The reign of Hogan just being
yeah
unstoppable
yeah
for
like
like as long as it was.
yeah because he had that company by the balls like what 8 years something like that. It was a
What
long time.
WWE?
Yes, it was a long
Oh
time.
yeah.
Yes, so that's when Hogan became he stopped being friendly and started being an asshole because he was depressed. He would stay in bars drinking. Like it
Super
was
drunk.
very bad. It was very bad. Like and what was really messed up about it was there weren't many people in the back that were trying to comfort Andre because they
You
knew
could.
that
You could.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it got bad when he was getting to the end, man. But I mean, they knew that his shit
Warrior got a
was
good
wrong, bro.
recognition to getting into the business from Andre. I'll say that.
And
If you want to watch it on YouTube, go ahead.
also so Uh, Andre also hated Vince because he just threw him away like garbage, and then didn't really try to help him after
Yeah,
like his reign was over. But okay, for people that are squeamish when it comes to sexual assault, I am giving you a trigger warning right now because oh boy, this story was like that is dirty. So you know how we have female referees all today, right? Like
mm-hmm,
they're all around the business. Well, back in the day, that wasn't the case.
mm-hmm.
There was one female referee that like she was trying to break ground in in wrestling and just wrestling in general, and she got an offer from Vince, and she had a reporter friend that legit told her, "Whatever you do not talk to that man independently."
Yeah, yeah. This story I know.
Yes, so Vince, he talks with her. Vince, being the smooth talker he is, he says, "Oh, we're going to have you in Sports Illustrated as Woman of the Year. All this stuff you're going to be making as much as your male counterparts or more." So then she refs a few. Now he does keep his word and he does give her work. She does work a few shows, but then she's not getting what she's promised. So then I want to say it was at a restaurant. It was somewhere. It was somewhere. I want to say it was a restaurant. But she confronts Vince in front of people, but he shoos her off. He just shoos her off and says, "No, not right now." So then he tells her, "You can talk with me. Like I'll talk to you later." Later was he pulled up in the limo. He's like, "Oh, he's going to come outside and meet me." No, he tells her to get into his limo. Oh, I feel so dirty saying this. Okay, so once they're in the limo, she asked about all things that she was offered, and Vince started to unzip his pants.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, before I go on, one stipulation he had with her was one thing you could not do in his own words. You cannot fuck the other wrestlers. Keep that in mind. So Vince unzips his pants, says, "Well, if you want what was offered, you have to please me." She didn't want to, of course. It it is alleged that Vince forced her to have oral sex, and then after he was not pleased, God damn it, this is hard. I cannot put this on YouTube. Um, after she was done, after he was done forcing her to give oral sex, he basically pulled her on top of him forcefully and said, "No, I'm not satisfied yet. You have to satisfy me more." Yes, y'all, he raped her. That's alleged. He raped her, and that's another reason why Andre the Giant hates him because they were very close personal friends. He's close personal friends with that female referee. Oh, and remember when I said what he said to her? Don't fuck the other wrestlers. So after he is done allegedly raping her, he says, Remember what the number one rule was, and you just broke that rule." So he fired her after all this. Now, like I said, these are allegations. I'm
Motherfuckers,
not.
wow.
I'm. I don't know, but like I said, it. Andre was very shook up about it. He wanted to kill Vince at that point. She went on a lot of talk shows talking about this. Like I didn't even
Mm-hmm.
know this.
Yeah,
I wasn't even alive around this time. I
yeah.
dug this up.
I remember all this shit. I
So
remember that shit happening. Well, I remember like her on the talk shows talking about it. I was little as hell.
yeah. So when I heard that, I was like, I did not know it started all the way back then.
Yeah, he's had a lot of stories, man. But the thing is, there's never been any like real valid evidence of a lot of shit. Everything's been circumstantial. Everything's
But
been
the
hearsay. Um, yeah, he's I don't there's never been even with the steroid allegations and stuff like that. He wasn't I don't think he was processing that either.
no, Hogan saved him in that.
He
But
got
Yeah.
yeah, he got off on that
about
shit.
the female referee, um, she also worked for NWA. Nobody knew about that. So there was a story that maybe NWA hired her to basically plot to get Vince. There was the other story with that one as well, even with
I
those
didn't hear that part.
allegations. So, yeah, bro, when I say that all promotions were really at Vince's neck,
I believe
all
it, bro.
promotions were at Vince's neck. Believe it or not, one of those ones, what one of his allegations was supposedly was one of the promoter's wives or something
Mm.
like that. So like there was a lot of allegations.
See,
So I mean, I get what you said on that one. What's
yeah,
her name? Wendy? What was her
Yeah.
name?
I don't remember her name.
Wendy?
I just remember the girl doing it. I
Yeah.
remember her and the other situation that I guess you're probably gonna bring up later. But like you said, Warren, like that's one of the reasons why it's so hard with this shit because I'm not saying that Vince
There's
McMahon
no
probably
valid
hasn't
proof.
done. There's no fucking proof of any of it, yo. It's all hearsay. There's legitimate reasons why a lot of these people would have done this shit because they hated this motherfucking man. He just ended their fucking their businesses
Vince laughed
in a
at it.
sense.
Vince laughed at this stuff.
He
He's
didn't
like,
give a fuck. He was
put a
reckless,
hit.
yo.
What?
Do you remember the interview he did with Pat McAfee? He said he literally had to have a fourth eye to go to the stall bathrooms.
I
It
believe
was
that shit.
that bad. Like that's
Yeah.
why I'm saying. Like when they did talk about, like she was possibly hired by NWA. If anybody doesn't remember Jerry Jarrett was trying to buy every
Jeff
wrestling
Jeff
promotion.
Jarrett's father.
Yep, he was trying to buy every wrestling promotion in Texas to get Vince out of
Hmm.
wrestling business as well. Like
Yep.
he tried to combine them, NWA, Mid Tennessee, Mid Smoky Mountain, Jim Cornette. Before Jim Cornette signed with WWF, he
Yeah.
was trying to get Vince out as well because
Yep.
he put Vince almost. I mean, he almost put Jim Cornette out of business. That's why Jim Cornette signed with
Signed with
Vince.
WWF, yeah, because he
That's the
knew that it
reason
was
why
coming.
Vince got all these guys to come to his company because he damn near put them out of business.
He
Yes.
monopolized it, bro. He monopolized it,
It's
but that's why.
literally the game of Monopoly in the
Yeah,
real form
it
of it.
really
Yeah.
is, and that's Jay. That's why when you tell the stories, it's like for me, bro.
I can't. I
It's
can't.
I like any story you tell, and with these stipulations in it is going to
That's the
sound
sad
fucking
part, bro.
tragic and horrible. So it's like, but the fact is that's what gets everybody so engaged because you're telling this story, and to the right people who don't know nothing about the history or nothing, they just hear this story, then they just have that to process. Everybody will say, "Oh, Vince McMahon did that. He's horrible." Blah blah. Do you even know wrestling? Have you watched wrestling? Do you know any of the stories? No, but he just did that. It's rape. It's wrong. Of course, it's wrong, fucking idiot. But you don't have any kind of concept or anything behind it. That's why I don't like when people just state shit. Like
That's
you have
like
to
any pop
legitimately
icon, like Michael Jackson,
anybody.
bro.
He's a
Everybody's talking about
fucking
Michael Jackson, all this stuff.
bruh.
So it's
The shit
like,
that he did, he of course motherfuckers was saying shit. I'm not even, I'm not saying he didn't do it. But I'm just saying there's never been proof. You're not guilty before innocent. You're innocent until proven guilty. Now, if shit comes out and we find out a whole
you
bunch of
finally find
shit,
out, yeah.
now it's like, okay, well, nigga, everything can't be a lie, bro. You obviously been doing shit. But at the same time, I'm not just gonna believe every story and just fucking go into a panic mode and be like, oh, he did that. I can't believe I'll never watch another Vince video again. Fuck you, man. I'm not that person,
I
bro.
mean, and I agree with that too. But and I mean, obviously, I know what affidavit you're talking about, Jason. I read some of it too. I think I sent it on the commission chat.
An
I think I sent
affidavit. You know what that
yeah,
is? That's somebody's
exactly.
story. That's somebody's story
Yep.
that they told a lawyer. That's all that is. Even with the Janelle Grant shit, that's her story that she told the lawyer.
Don't know
That's
nothing
the,
about her, but all of a sudden
don't know
she's
shit. The bitch got one picture in all America. And I'm not saying anything bad about her. I'm just saying like I'm not one of them type of niggas who's gonna be
we
like,
can't act on
I'm just
just
gonna
a
believe it
response.
because she went and told the story to a lawyer after the money stopped from her payout. Get the
But
fuck out of here,
Jason,
man.
good research on those, bro. Because
For
I will
real.
say,
Hold
bro,
on, hold
because
on, hold on,
you were
hold on,
super in depth with it.
hold on, y'all. Before everybody jump on my neck, I'm just saying this because
Trevor.
I personally know I personally know people that have had been sexually assaulted. All I'm just saying is one thing I will never do because America did it for a while is they have always went against the victim. I don't know why that you would think it's the other way around, but it's just
Mm-mm.
how it is. I'm not villainizing nobody. I'm just
Bro.
putting what's
Father
out.
of a daughter, trust me, I don't
Yeah,
support
but
none of
that's the
that shit.
problem. But Jason, that's another problem. Is you know why America goes against the victim, it sounds fucked. Even when you just say that, it sounds fucked up. But the
Same thing
problem
with the
is
father and the mother type situation. It's
exactly.
always on a one judgment.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's a good fucking point. But the thing is, so many people try to play victim and really fucking aren't, and they fucking take the
Two
credibility
wrongs makes it
away from
wrong
the
for
people
everybody
who
else.
actually are victimized and are going through fucking horrible tragedies and stuff like
Speak
that,
on it,
who
Brian.
need to
Speak
be
on it.
heard. That's the problem. So it's like, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not even saying that you're doing it. I'm just speaking loudly on the shit because you can't just take a sexual assault story, put sexual assault in the title of it, and then fucking put a name at the end of it, and then just have people singing that shit because everybody's going to instantly appeal to it as this person's a monster, no matter what context is involved. You don't even got to read the story. All you got to do is read the fucking title. This person is a monster because of this story that I just heard or saw. But there's no context, there's no credibility, there's not even a fucking verdict. And then it's just, now we're all believing a story and a scandal rather than actual evidence or circumstances.
The
It's just
craziest
fucked
thing,
up, bro.
the craziest thing, they didn't even act upon this thing until we used the word sex trafficking. If
Of
sex
course,
trafficking
bro.
wouldn't even get used,
Don't get
bro,
me started, yo. I'm trying to tell you, yo.
nobody would even looked at this case with Vince. That's the
Motherfuckers
craziest
don't.
thing about it.
They know how to do it nowadays, bro. You don't have to. You get
You
canceled,
gotta
and
hit
we're
those
talking about
trigger
now.
words to go for it.
Trigger
That's
the
well,
what it
shit.
is.
Trigger
Bro, this is
motherfuckers,
the
and they
most me and
going
Brian's agreed since we started commission together.
well,
commission. But yo, hey, Jay ain't used to this shit, yo. We argue like this all the time. But
well,
it's just true, man. It's
well. I would just say this. I'm gonna just say this because everybody knows this. Look, whether Vince did it or not, he is a rich white man who is a billionaire,
That's the sad part about it. Yeah.
that's
and
what's up.
and like I said, I'm one of the few people because, like I said, I have went deep diving this. I probably gotta take a shower after this all the nasty shit I done read. Um, I I do believe that. Look, my grandmother always told me a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
Now, now I would say this. Maybe okay. Say he didn't do everything, but goddamn it, I done read so many. I done read 10 things about either sexual assault, him hiding something, him knowing about something, him knowing it, and then sweeping it under the rug, and then trying to pay people off. Like I said, after so many stories, some of those got true. Maybe not all of them.
Yeah, some of them obviously.
Yeah.
I
And,
mean,
and Jay, this is
only
something
so
I want
many
to.
stories you could hear until one
I
of
want
these
to,
are very
yeah, and
believable.
I feel the same way. But Jay, this is something I want to present to you because I've had these conversations, with us in our community, in our culture, and shit like that. Because we do get swept up by that initial conversation. He's this rich white man, blah 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 blah. We do understand that concept. But here's what I flip it. Remember Bill Cosby? Remember Bill Cosby? Now I've had conversations with motherfuckers who sit there and say, "Oh, they doing this because it's blackmail. Oh, because he was going to buy CBS or NBC, whatever the fuck it
Yeah,
was he was in talks
same they
of with
said
doing or
about
whatever."
OJ.
And then, you know what happened? All his scandal shit started coming out. Hannibal Buress fucking made a joke. And then people started just coming out like, yeah, that's true, and blah, blah, blah. And then that talk got louder, and that's where Bill Cosby got hit on his bullshit. But at the same time, all them fucking people who came out, yeah, he did this to me too. It was like 90 fucking women, bro. Did you honestly believe that all 90 of them bitches fucking had something done?
Maybe like maybe not all 90. I
Maybe
said,
like 6 or 7 of them, right? So
well,
now
no,
Out of that
you
90,
gotta use your shit out of
nah.
90 for real, for real.
Well,
Out of fucking 90, I
okay,
would say maybe like 10 of them. But
you
I'm,
gotta
but
go in
my
double
point
digits
is,
at least.
my point is this: if that did happen, just like you just said right now, that's where there's smoke, there's fire. And there probably was some shit that
well,
happened.
first of all, on Bill Cosby, I don't care nobody say. I kind of knew something was up with that damn barbecue sauce episode because that man said that man said people just go crazy for my barbecue sauce. I'm sorry.
Them pudding pots, brother. Them pudding
I'm,
pots.
I'm just still trying to be true to myself at least, man, because it is very dangerous to say something and not have enough knowledge, man.
Exactly.
Cardi B just proved that fucking girl who was talking shit about her. She's fucking took her to court for scandal. For what not scandal? What the fuck is it called? Slander. And
Slander.
because you can't just be out here recklessly fucking slandering people's name, bro, because it does fuck their credibility, especially now where and Vince McMahon, like I said, every time I have this argument, I still think he did the shit. Like I still think he definitely did a lot of dirty shit. But I'm just saying, I'm not going to just believe every story because I believe that he did some shit. He just came up with a great fucking example where I didn't even know about the NWO shit, but I believe that. I would give that more credibility that if she was doing that and they was trying to fuck with him, I believe it. I believe she could have been in that fucking car and sucked his dick and then said he forced her to do it. It's mad shit. Like I'm
Women
not.
have done it. Women
It's
have done it plenty of
it,
times, sadly.
gotta stop living in this world where everybody's a fucking victim because they tell a story. Yo. I'm over that shit.
I mean, Jason, this is the only reason why I say this stuff now is, bro, because I mean, I've talked about it. Brian knows it personally from me. I've went through this. Personally went through when I say about, the mother and father child support situation. My kid's mom took my son for 8 months away from me. I couldn't do nothing about it because we weren't married. I
Mm-hmm.
Right.
had no say into it. I went into the courtroom. Never questioned anything I've ever done. Never questioned anything about what I said or anything. But then it was like, oh, when he questioned everything of hers, oh, you did this, you did this. Oh, why
Mm-hmm.
did you? Oh, he hit you, but how did he hit you? You don't have no bruises. Oh, he hurt my heart. Like she had to switch everything she kept saying. Oh, about everything that something typically a woman could literally just get. Oh, he did this. He hit me. All right, court jail 15 years, something like that. He questioned it. He said, where's the bruises? Where was this stuff? Like he constantly did that. So I'm sitting there just like, and then she literally just choked up and said, oh, he never hurt Matthew. He never hit his son. Never did this. He hurt my heart. He hurt my heart, something like that. And then I physically purposely saw this with my own eyes. He told me, as good as a father you are not meant to have your son full time.
Mm.
That is how I have second guessed everything when it comes to every second judgment or anything. And that's how I'm going to stay until the day I probably die because I
Real, man.
physically have seen this stuff personally.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
like
I
I said,
agree, man. I
like I
agree.
said, I respect both of y'all's opinions, but it's just something unsettling about that story from the start. Because, like I said, I read different accounts from the
Yeah,
start of that story to the
it's
end,
all
and
pretty much the same. Yeah, I got you.
yeah, and then the thing about it, it's terrible that I can imagine Vince saying it in that gravelly
Because of
accent
his
that he said.
character, because
Because
the
of his
character he put
character.
on the
And
TV. Yeah,
yeah, that's what burns the shit out of you because like and like it's so hard to defend what I'm defending because at the end of the day, I'm not defending Vince McMahon. I'm defending men in general and women in general from being fucking basically just stereotyped or
I
whatever the fuck
mean
you
that's
call
how
it.
a lot of these people in this world now see this as like they
It's
just see a
hard,
one
man.
typical word and it's like it
That's
offends
it.
them, and
And I'm
Yeah,
that's
fuck. I can't. I would never teach my kids to live that way. Like
definitely
as soon
not.
as because if something happens to them, oh, a story just happened. Somebody in school. Oh, my daughter. Oh yeah, she fucked John yesterday. And then everybody said they put on social media, she fucked John. And then everybody fucking going off of that. It's like I don't even know John. You tell 4 people that shit, but then fucking 4,000 heard that you fucked John. So now you just fucked John for life. And that's where we at now.
And
So
people
it's
people
just
eat bullets for
difficult.
that too.
It's
Like
fucking
it's bad.
difficult just to do that
now
shit, man.
now bring the popcorn podcast fam. I know you're smart. I know you're smart. So, like I said, I'm just giving you
We need
I'm
a
just giving you
disclaimer.
I'm giving you
It's my
outlets.
job.
I'm giving you outlets. I'm giving you just what I think of the situation, and there's plenty of sources out there. Just do your research before you make any judgment. Like I've
Not
said,
Sports Illustrated regarding wrestling. Do
Yeah.
not
like
have any
like
sources for that,
Go to fucking
please.
Wikipedia and think you did research, all right? Because
Google is not a search engine
I
for
can change that shit right now.
like I said, I I came to the verdict a long time ago. Like, yeah, I think he might be a bad person. I
I mean,
can't.
I'm not denying that part. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously
He's done some
people
shit.
there's many rich people that believe they can get away with everything
and
because
I
of
Murder.
the money
and
standpoint.
and like yes, the Vince McMahon character was a character, but also I realized he's a billionaire who has his own television show in the '90s who could do whatever he wanted.
He
He
was
was able to do,
untouchable. He was
yeah, like
untouchable.
And he's
I'm sorry,
control hungry. Control, even from like we were talking about with the territories, he's control hungry. He wants to own it all. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't let the
Same thing with
writers
the
sleep.
name.
He
Same
don't
thing
give a
with
fuck.
wrestlers' names.
folks,
Change
If
the
they left,
name.
that was it.
I have to
folks,
own every fucking thing.
folks. If you want to know that how Vince McMahon how he sees he has control of everything, um, watch the Montreal Screwjob documentary. Good documentary. Uh, this man
That
had the
was work
nerve
too.
to say he had the nerve to say that he told when Bret Hart stormed his office, he allowed him to punch him. Now everybody that knows what happened that night know goddamn well. He said you can punch me for you can punch me make things safe. No, if you watch that Bret documentary,
Listen, yo, here's something that you probably won't hear somebody say. The Montreal screw job,
It was a work.
that was needed. That was no, I didn't say it was a work. I'm saying that was needed. And
boy,
people, yo, like Triple H said, Bret Hart chose to go into business for himself.
Yep.
He wasn't going to. Alundra Blaze just took the fucking WF title on WCW and put it in the
yeah,
trash can. You
yeah.
think that they were going
Literally
to let
a
Bret Hart
week
do that shit?
before this
Come
match,
on,
before this,
Boy,
be real. He
Vince
boy,
made
was
it.
going to
He
let
made an
it
audible
happen.
call. He made an
Vince
audible
was.
call. I
I
respect
love
it,
how you said that. Vince was going to allow that to happen because of the respect
bro.
he had for Brett. But Alundra did it first. And what
Yup.
she did, she disrespected him,
Yup.
tarnished the company, and then he went to Brett and told him, we cannot do this.
That's right. He
because
didn't
Even
do it.
though
He
it's
even
in
talked.
Canada,
Yup.
that is your contract is up.
I
We
ain't fucking with it.
cannot let you leave this.
no,
This. So they asked him, what are the ideas that you wanted to do? Brett refused it. It was a work. I'm
Bro, listen.
sorry. It was a work.
bro.
Brett knew that they were
You
supposed to
think he knew he was
lose.
gonna do that? I don't think he knew he was gonna
What?
do that,
Brett
bro.
knew he
Okay,
was
well,
supposed to lose, but he tried to change it because he thought,
Okay,
oh,
okay, okay.
the
If that's not
relationship
a
and the
work though.
viewership.
That's not a work though. That's a fucking shoot. Because
yeah,
if he
because
knew he was supposed to lose, then because he
well,
definitely was not gonna what's it called? He
well,
had to
He
here's the
make
could
thing.
him step
not.
out.
He could not go home with it.
Hell no, he definitely could not.
Well,
call
here's
it.
the
could not
thing.
do it.
Like we kind of like we got some time. So like the thing about the Montreal screwdriver, reason why that was a shoot because I think the original plan,
Earl knew the
the
plan
original
before it
plan
began.
was it was supposed to end with the sharpshooter, but I don't think at that point in time it was supposed to end. And then Vince,
Not with Shawn Michaels having the sharpshooter. That was the most disrespectful shit.
Shawn Michaels was supposed to hit him with the elbow drop. Both of them were supposed to be on the count of 10. Shawn Michaels slowly crawls to him, and they were just both knocked out on each other. That's what the spot was supposed to be.
but
And then they
then
came up with a
Vince,
sharpshooter.
but
Yeah.
then Vince got anxious because he didn't know what Brett was going to
He
do.
didn't know what he was going to do.
So he brought the ref out. I swear this ref has been a part of a lot of controversy.
Earl actually
Earl
speaks
Hebner.
on it on a podcast recently.
He spoke
actually
about
said
Vince
it on a
too.
book.
He
Yeah.
spoke about Vince too, about his allegations and shit.
After
said,
he
like,
got released, Earl
talking
has
mad
actually
shit.
been talking about him
He
now.
has
Yeah.
been talking mad shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
Earl. He's been talking shit too. Him and his brother.
So
His
Oh,
brother,
his
his brother
son.
passed.
His
I think
son.
did his brother pass?
No, David Hebner. That's his son.
Dave
That
Hebner.
wasn't his
Oh,
brother.
that's his
That was
son.
his son. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yes.
real. I thought it was his brother. My whole life.
That
yeah,
was his son.
so then after the match, Brett is understandably pissed. He says something to Vince. You see the match. I can't read lips, but I'm pretty sure it says "fuck you, you piece of shit." I'm pretty sure that's what he said. So then he spits on like.
Oh, he spits on Vince.
He spit right on him.
He literally spits on Vince, and then
He spells WCW
yeah,
in the air.
In the air.
He rips apart the fucking
But
commentary.
you know the sad part is the main reason why he was pissed is because all his family was there.
Yeah, he was picking in Canada.
That
And
was the main reason why he was pissed because
while
his
Shawn
dad,
had the
all of them were there. He
sharpshooter
was
on him,
pissed
bro.
about it.
Shawn Michaels had the sharpshooter on him, and he
It
called
didn't
him
even
a
hooked it
handicap.
yet. He didn't even really hook
That
it yet.
shit is
And they
that's
already
most
called it a heat
disrespectful.
tap.
Yeah.
That's super disrespectful.
Yeah, so
Yes.
so then in the documentary, because this actually footage that they show, then you just hear Brett saying, "What the fuck is Vince?"
Yep.
That's all you
He
hear.
took a shower. He took a shower first, and then he fucking went back and punched him in the fucking face.
And
Because
then
Vince was in his locker room.
Yeah, Vince came in the locker room.
yeah, and then because
He said,
in the
"Vince, get out of here! I'm
documentary,
gonna punch you in the fucking face." And Vince didn't leave, and Brett came back and punched him in the fucking face
He
because he
took
was
his
taking a
time
shower.
too. He took his
Bruh.
time.
Yeah.
I've heard
My
that
dog,
story a
my
billion
dog
times.
sat there, washed his long hair, put a good long time, massaged his head, sitting there washing his body. All of a sudden, puts the towel around, and he just sits there and see Vince.
Like,
Vince
get
is
the
still
fuck out of
talking.
my room.
He ties it together and then
he probably
whack.
watched his body like, huh? Am I going to hit him with the overhand left, overhand
Trying to
right,
tell
a jab, a hook? Damn, my hair is luxurious.
Brett said he
Vince,
was
you
a big
still
fan
here?
of Mike Tyson, so that's why he used like the big uppercut like Mike Tyson. That's what he used.
And then Vince, being the control freak that he is, he said said on interviews, "I let Brett punch me. You ain't let Brett do a goddamn
Brett
thing."
screwed Brett. Vince is fucking man, yeah. I mean, he definitely.
Bro, he branded
Let him go to
Yeah.
jail or whatever if he does any fucking
But the
shit. If he ever
sad
did
thing is
anything
that
like
documentary
that, but
is still a WWE film, which
Yep.
is the most craziest thing. That's why I said in reality it had to have been the work, because why would WWF put that on their name?
because it's legendary,
knowing that.
bro. It's classic. But that's
I'ma
fucking
tell you
Wouldn't
why.
that have tarnished them at that time?
Nah,
though?
they didn't
In a
do
way,
that
it
cutting
wouldn't
shit
do
out shit
No,
until
Warren,
now.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Until Benoit, actually.
Warren,
That's when they
I'm gonna
started
tell
cutting
you.
shit out.
Warren, I'm gonna tell you why. Because America loves controversy. Vince knows this.
It was
So
around the
Vince,
Jerry Springer days.
Look at Lita and Matt. Look at the fucking all the shit they put out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so much. There's so much
Hey,
shit that
hold
they've
up! You're
had.
getting ahead of yourself now. You're getting ahead of yourself.
Oh
That's
shit!
what
All
they-
right.
On Brett and Vince.
So
Brett and Vince.
also another fun fact, but well, if you can call it fun, Vince is also he is diagnosed with dyslexia. He is actually dyslexic.
Oh,
That's
damn.
yeah.
Yes.
That's part of the reason why he was struggling in school, because he's dyslexic.
He couldn't read.
Yeah.
Motherfucker got a house that's as big as
Bro,
a fucking
believe
airport.
it or not, no.
I don't give a fuck what you say.
A lot of
Whatever
people don't
he
know
did
this.
worked.
A lot of people don't know this. Vince actually had to have a tutor walk around with him to read every written document he's ever had to have.
Mm.
Guess who took that role when he signed with WWF? Pat Patterson.
Oh shit.
Pat
Oh, you know
Patterson
what,
was
boy?
his eyes
I
and
didn't know
ears
that.
and the reader as well. So yes, Pat Patterson did everything for Vince.
Well,
Yeah,
Everything.
I bet, motherfucker.
well, we got 30. Well, we got 30 more minutes. Warren, you just brought up.
No, 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 no. We don't. I gotta be bouncing
Okay.
around a minute.
Well,
I gotta take a nap now. I gotta wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning so I can watch this
Oh,
wrestling.
and this boy got an alarm clock for
Yeah, yeah. I gotta wake up early, so I gotta.
This man went from I'm not watching. Oh, bro, I'm watching this.
I'm
Well-
watching. Hell yeah, I can't miss wrestling no more,
Can't
man.
miss
Well-
this.
well, y'all, Brian stopped y'all from hearing the story, but you'll have to
Sorry,
hear
y'all.
that.
I know which one you were using too.
Oh, the Pat Patterson. Yeah, you
Yep.
already know.
Oh yeah,
So-
I already ready for that one. I know that for
So
sure.
next week, y'all, we are going to reconvene and we're going to talk about the steroid trial of the 1980s, and we're going to talk about the steroid trial of the 1980s, Jimmy Superfly Snuka's situation, and we're going to talk about Jimmy Snuka. Jimmy Snuka, Pat Patterson, and the steroid trial. That's next week. Hopefully, you guys come back because oh boy, it's a lot. Like I said, I appreciate you two for coming on, talking this with me. Great conversation. Great,
Sure.
great conversation.
We're
But-
using on these two different teams, but now apparently we're like this today.
Oh yeah. We know our shit. That's why. I love this shit, and like I said, I'm glad we got to have the rant about it too, man. Because I wasn't gonna come on here and just bash Vince. You know what I'm saying? Vince did some shit, but I grew up watching him, and I respect the product that he brought to me that I've fucking been passionate about my whole life, damn near. I don't respect his character and shit he's done on whatever he gets proven if he is guilty of these fucking horrible things that he's doing. But you know, I'm not just gonna be that guy that just all of a sudden jumps ship immediately. Just like John Cena has said. John Cena said something. Everybody tries to victimize
He said
everything
it
on Howard
perfect.
Stern. He said it just like Triple H when he said his shit at the end of
That's all
what's
I
it
needed
called?
to hear.
Royal
I
Rumble.
didn't need to hear anything
They're
else.
just everybody's just looking for a way to fucking make somebody sound like they're a piece of shit. Nobody can say nothing. He literally said, "Bro, yeah, you know people do shit, but I still love the guy. What the fuck am I gonna do? I knew him forever. He gave me every opportunity I had. That's what I had, man. It's what it is." But whatever, man. We ain't gonna open that shit right now.
yeah, but like I said, we all have our different opinions. Just know that my opinion, it's been like this for a while. I bought
Deep and wide,
I thought
deep and
shit
wide.
for a while. I'm just throwing out there. I love WWE, but for the longest time, I've just been on the fuck Vince train after
Yeah,
all
you have.
after all the things that I've heard. I'm like, especially when it comes to minority champions. He's been on my shit list for a while.
Everybody was racist, man. Everybody was fucking racist, bro. That's the thing that sucks ass about it. Everybody was,
That don't make
or
you
at least
what
said
the
some
hell?
racist shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, yeah.
I'm just
I mean,
saying,
well-
man. We're too sensitive in time periods where
That's
it wasn't like that, man. It's different time
The
period.
biggest
I'm
and Brian's saying it perfect. Like we had a bunch of Southerners that really started this whole foundation. Like in the U.S.
Oh,
audience, you
shit.
had a bunch of white, grizzled countrymen that come in there and literally would whoop somebody's ass. These weren't ones that were doing fake pro wrestling. Like Hogan said it his best. He got his leg broken on his first day at wrestling training. They took this shit seriously. Yes,
For real.
it was a different generation at that time. We can't sit here and pinpoint and get mad about, oh, yeah, they were racist, such as they. I think at that time, I'm not speaking on it, but I mean, I wasn't born at this time, but it's like a lot of people saw a lot of things different in so many perspectives.
It's very true.
And we can't just continue on that thing and think that is what it is now.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
where I don't see that.
People evolve.
And I know you ain't gonna agree.
And I'm
to
a
this
black
shit,
and I'm a
but
black
like,
man
bro,
saying that shit. I'm
Well-
just being honest.
Well, I'm gonna just say this because I got my ass beat plenty of times by my family, and they always say this: "Boy, you know what's right, you know what's wrong." It don't matter. It don't matter.
I agree. I agree.
It
With
don't
that.
matter how you raise.
I've
You know
always
what's
been
right.
raised on that too. Like my
Yeah.
parents, my mom was very sheltered with me.
Now-
I wasn't allowed to watch Simpsons or anything, bro. I was
Oh
sheltered.
no, I was watching everything.
So when I got to go hang out with my friends, shout out my boys Ontario, Kelvin Rainey, and them, like I really got to see a different lifestyle situations than what I got to live at my house, because my house, I'm in a military household, nice, taking care of whatever. And then I go to my best friend's house, which I love talking about this story now because today is literally 3 years after she's passed, and today is actually her birthday. Shout out to my grandma Lily. I always call her Grandma Lily. I would go to their house and I would just see a lot of different things. Like, instead of, hey, home cooked meals are already made for you, you better get it now or you're not going to eat that whole day type scenario. I had to hide stuff from him because apparently some of their relatives like to steal. I had to literally learn so many different lifestyles just based off of going to my friend's house. And I love going to my friend's house because I was treated so differently. And it was just like I've seen some of those different lifestyles. So I agree with what you're saying. Wrong, what is right, and what is wrong. But we also got to learn how to, what can we do to make it not be a repetition like we have done for so long. And I think that's something that so many people need to take a step back and look at it and go, hey, what can we do to make this change? What can we do? Is it really always what we're acting on, or is it something that we're just relying on? But like Brian said from the past, like, oh, it had to be a rich white man, so shame on that person. Screw that person because they've ruined everything that we've ever read about or anything like that.
Yeah,
So
and also just to jump in, like I'm also not saying like anytime people are racist is a good thing. Or
no,
not even a good thing. Just you should be understanding of it. What I am saying is that times were different,
it was
and
just a lot different.
to bring in the feelings of today and put them to the feelings of yesterday is a difficult fucking thing to do in a lot of cases. You're gonna find yourself being extremely pissed off. I just said to
Yes.
somebody else the other day, 10 years ago, and this is nothing against anybody. People were using the word gay in so many fucking ways. You didn't even know it meant so many different things, and it meant everything except for the fucking thing that it really means. And people were saying this shit all the time. And the reason why people stopped saying it was because people fucking said, hey, listen, you are offending people by using this terminology, so let's change our ways and not do it. The same thing with the N word. The same thing with a lot of words that have been used over the years. We found out that they were wrong, and then people said, hey, you know what? That is absolutely right. Let's fucking maybe stop doing that shit so much. And they smartened up and stopped. Now, does everybody who said the shit before, are they homophobic? Are they racist? No, I don't believe that in no way. Are people who still say it to this day, even though maybe they're mad, maybe it's a bad situation, and somebody taped them secretly, and they were just talking some shit. I don't want that nigga around my fucking house. And then I hear somebody say that on a recorded fucking message, and now I'm gonna call him racist the rest of my life. No, I'm sorry, I don't think that way. Now, if he was saying, man, I fucking hate niggers, man, I fucking hate them. Now I'm gonna think that way. I'm
You're
saying,
gonna
okay,
see
now,
it different.
apparently.
Well, reason why I think
It's just different, man. Context matters for me, bro. I'm sorry. I just gotta say that shit.
also before we go, I'm just gonna say reason why I feel the way I feel about Vince. Yes, you're right. Don't judge somebody off of past experiences, but when you do certain things
Oh yeah.
over
Oh,
and over,
I'm not
Yeah,
saying he
Vince, we're
hasn't
not
done any
arguing
of
with
this,
you, bro.
That's
because
the
We're not
thing.
arguing with you.
because
Like
I'm
like
sorry,
you just
I
said
would
about the 90 girls and possibly it's 6. So yes, I'm
Still,
very
he
sure
still did shit. I
he's done
bet you.
something. He's done some
Yeah.
stuff. Like
There's too much smoke, bro. He
I
definitely
hate
has
to
probably done
say
some shit.
I
I
would
hate to say on some of them, but it's like, but we can't just sit here and just
Yeah,
attack this
I'm not
person
gonna
on
cry over every story
every.
I hear. I'm still gonna
That's the thing.
speculate, like, okay, just because he did it today, I'm not gonna now every story that comes my way, now I'm ready to hold her hand and fucking nah, bro. I'm still gonna speculate, like, nah, bitch, like whatever. Let the girls who really need it get their shot, but I'm still suspicious about your story. It still don't make sense to me. Maybe it is true and nothing against you or whatever. I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm just my opinion. But I'm not crying over everybody, bro. But yeah, I'm definitely not disagreeing with you, Jay. Like I understand why you have like the feelings you have. It's reasonable
And,
why you have the feelings you
and
have.
plus, you're a writer, so I will give you props.
and
Like you,
I'm
you
sorry,
got that creative mind.
I will never forgive this man for going on national television, a white man
Oh
with a do
yes, I know
rag
what you're talking
saying,
about.
"What's good, my nigga?" to another black man. I would never forgive him for
Did he
that.
say that? I don't remember saying. Did he
Yes,
say it was good, my nigga?
yes. Go back and look that up. Do rag Vince, what's good, my nigga
He's
Booker T? Because
Oh
Booker T
shit!
looked at him. He legit looked
I
at the
didn't remember
camera.
that.
Tell me He did
It
not.
It
is.
was
Do
on.
it.
It was on the ECW thing. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
Yeah,
know that was the time he was doing it, but I didn't know
yeah.
he blatantly
It
just
was
said, "You're my
literally
nigga."
the do rag Vince gimmick.
Do right.
Damn, yeah,
But the
he
funny
had
thing
balls
is,
for that one.
Booker T and them came up with that for him.
I
That's
boy,
the
and
I
funniest
believe it.
part.
I
I
believe
would
That's
it.
the
never know
funniest part. So that's what I'm saying.
boy.
We're not looking at it as, oh, we see him do it, but you also got to realize somebody behind the scenes that it did not really offend came up with that idea.
But for him
So
to say yeah and do it, that's where
I mean, that's
Warren.
where
Now,
you tell
As
Vince.
a black man, I do understand that.
Yes, I
If
know.
you
Yes,
say
yes,
yeah,
that's what
you
I'm saying. Yeah,
motherfucker,
yeah.
you want it too.
First of all, I would question Booker
That
T
just tells
because
you how ballsy Vince was. That's the craziest thing,
It's
bro.
true. It's
And
true.
and
I don't
just
disagree.
like how you just said him for him to go on national TV and say that, then yes, there is some of those things that eventually are probably going to be proven that he done. But all these other ones that have been said, or these ones that are like all the sex trafficking, all that craziness, I don't really agree on.
I don't
Just
know yet.
because
Yeah, I try to just say at least I don't know. I don't see it yet in any story that I've heard.
I
Even with
never
this,
had my child
I
support
don't.
thing, and I never had got judged the way I would probably been still that sheltered mindset and been like, yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, that's
Sex
disgusting.
trafficking all of
Shame
a
on
sudden.
him,
Sex
everything. Like
sex trafficking all of a sudden is telling your boys about the hoe that you fucking and then they want to fuck her too. That's trafficking. I don't.
seeing
I
the
feel
text
like that's
messages
some
that were
bullshit.
between both of them, she
Yeah.
wasn't fully in the
Thank
right as
you.
well.
Thank you.
yeah.
If they
That's
really
been my
showing the
point.
actual results on that.
We got for the Janelle Grant shit. We have the actual evidence of the fucking messages
Text
between
messages and
both of
stuff.
them, and she is as much engaged in the fucking shit as her.
Okay,
And I already
Haley,
said,
after saying all that,
even
yeah.
even if it is, if you want to have the argument for abuse of power or whatever, but to call it from the evidence that we have sexual assault. Fuck you, bro. When has sexual assault been you fucking some chick that agreed to fuck you? That's not sexual assault. Just because he is a man of power. Even if he did, just like we were just talking before, if old girl told that story and said, hey, I want my fucking shit or whatever, don't fuck the wrestlers and that's where you'll get. I'll give you this job. And she said, all right. And then he got in the car and he said, yo, check this out. You want your rest of your shit? Do this for me. And what she say, according to her shit, I ain't doing that. Get the fuck out of here. And then he made her do it. Now you got a story. Now I'm
It
listening.
Well,
might have
Oh,
been the other
really?
way around. It
But
might have
well,
been
she
the
didn't
other
do
way
that.
around.
Old girl didn't do that shit. She didn't even come out and start
well,
talking until the
well,
money stopped.
well. Also about the whole sex trafficking thing. What you described about like her just because she agrees, if Vince is profiting off of this and he's getting some monetary gain off of this, it's still classified as sex trafficking. Now, first of all, this was like the last part, Janelle Grant last part. But I'm sorry, I don't. I read those messages. I want to know why in one particular message, that long message thread, why was the word black penis put in that so many times? I saw that word
Motherfuckers is freaks, bruh. They
like
want
I
that
was
black
like
shit. I don't know why.
I,
Motherfuckers, they always are talking about shit like that.
I was
Give me that
like
black dick.
I was like
Fucking freaks, yo.
I'm curious what you're gonna say about Pat Patterson. That's all I'm gonna say.
You know, Bad Fast, that's another story. That was some other shit. That never got proved either.
No,
That never
no, no,
got.
no,
Then
no,
there was
no, no, no. Most
did
of it did. Most
yeah,
of it
most of it got
did.
proved. Most of it got
Most
proved.
of it got did. Rest
but
in
did
peace.
but
But
did
yes,
they go to court? Because I know the
No,
guy. He
they
didn't
did
go to
okay,
go
court
to
so
or anything
court.
for it.
hold on. I'm not going
We
to
might
hold on.
want to save
All
that.
right, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna say I'm
Let's
gonna
not
say
just
this
You
one
want
bit.
to save that one?
Yeah, yeah.
We
I'm
could
gonna
talk
say this
on
one.
behind the camera on it.
No,
Yeah, I'm gonna say this one bit.
I gotta dip the fuck out. But
Yeah, but like I said, y'all, this has been very fun. I feel dirty. I'm gonna take a shower. Um, once again, Warren and Brian, thank you. We will reconvene next week, talk about the steroid trials, and keep this in mind, folks. Just keep this in mind. The first openly
No
gay
means
wrestler,
no.
the first openly gay wrestler, Pat Patterson. Keep that in mind. Keep that title in mind with me for next week. But hey, y'all. Warren and Brian, where can they find you guys at?
Hey man, you can find us on Commission Talks on Wednesdays, bro.
Right.
Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to see me and him go back and forth all dang day about this guy and this guy, hey,
Oh yeah.
come on over. Come
Put
on
them
over.
ones up. Put them ones up all
No,
day.
Till
no.
Mania.
Not like
Till
this
Mania.
either. Fuck all that bullshit.
Which
But
one?
yeah,
But
Oh, like that?
this shit.
but
The
people,
Rock
you
over there trying to stun on his bloodline.
no,
Yeah,
Can't believe it.
Rock. Listen, don't get me started, bro. We gonna be fucking talking
no.
forever.
He gonna
But
get mad.
listen, you also can find me on the Be Like ENT when I actually am on my show. Right now I'm kind of on a little hiatus, but I am still doing wrestling, Wrestle Talk and popping into other shows as well lately. Before I come back with my own thing. I'm trying to figure some stuff out right now. But I'll be back eventually. But yeah, Be Like ENT, bro. We still there. Go check us out. We got a lot of shows that's been in YouTube and everything like that. So we'll be here.
Hey,
And
same with
people,
Buzzing with Marlo, man. We are on YouTube, pretty much on audio platforms. Big on Good Pods right now. We are ranked number 5 right now on Indie Pods. Sports podcast, we're number 2. And somehow I got in the pro wrestling thing because I think they just see the title. I was a pro wrestler. They ranked me number 2 in the pro wrestling podcast as well, beating Jim Cornette and guys like that. So
That's crazy.
check us out on that. You could catch me on Wrestling Realm American Prodigy. I'll be booked. I'm booked all the way until the end of July. So if you're in the Georgia area, the Florida area, and we just got booked on one, you might like this, Jason, in Texas. So stay tuned to that. But yeah, man, always a bless. Always play.
and people, you can find me at Bring the Popcorn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that jazz. And look for this weekend. We will be reviewing Avatar, and I will be reviewing
Oh
a lot of
God.
the movies.
I gotta
I'll be
watch that.
I'll be reviewing a lot of the Oscar nominated movies. And since we're on the wrestling one, I'm going to just we talk about
If
one.
you shoot the Ironheart movie, I will lose
Like
it.
we're talking about one just tragedy of a person. We're just gonna talk about a whole family. The Von Erich family movie, The Iron Claw. I'm gonna review that because hey, we need content because the movie that's been coming out is shit. I guess
Bro, I miss movies, man.
I guess I'll
What the
They
review.
fuck is
lost the touch.
they really have.
I I guess I'll review Madam Web because it might be a fun. God, I don't want to see that movie.
My
But
son liked it.
hey,
All
y'all
right,
know
y'all.
when you come to these shows, movies, reviews, just remember to always bring the popcorn. All right, y'all. We
That's
are
right. Peace out, y'all.